we have another full moon in the month of August, and by and large, it feels hopeful. Even if the past few weeks or months have felt like the opposite of that. But the energy right now is pushing for change. The stars are asking us to look back at where we've come from and how we got here. And the cards are reiterating that as well. They're hopeful and they're bold. They're asking what's going to help you shine as your brightest self. We are closing in on the rest of the year. Even though this August feels like it's been 3 months on its own. But before you know it, we'll be done with 2023. And so this super blue moon, because this one's going to look brighter and bigger, and it's the second full moon in a month. This moon is an invitation to really allow yourself to swim in the depths of your dreams, to be bold enough to get lost in something. It feels like it's here to show you that you are your own light. And if that feels scary, it shouldn't. Because it means coming back to yourself. Interestingly enough, when I pulled cards for this moon, I got the sun. And when I think of the sun as a tarot card, so much of it is about inner child work. And in this iteration of the card, it's not really there, but there is this sense of being untamed, unrestrained. And that's freeing. When was the last time you felt that kind of unbridled energy? That kind of freedom to just live? Is there anything that gives you the push and support that allows you to run wild? And of course, we have Mercury Retrograde to contend with right now. And that's going to go for a while until about September 15th. But we can use that because it's a time of reflection and review and revisiting. So I want to know, what do you keep coming back to? What nags at the back of your brain that you can't make go away? Maybe the answer is simple. Maybe it's just a favorite genre of a book that allows you to immerse yourself in that world. Maybe it's just the pile of books that are starting to stack at your bedside. And yes, that is a self-call out. But it could also be a subject or a technique, something you've been aching to learn more about. And that's the Hierophant shining through. It could be indicating a specific school of thought or traditional training. But depending on what you're interested in, what you're trying to return to, there is this sense that you may need to take an unconventional path, doing a pinch of this and that, Because I'm not advocating for expensive investments unless you've budgeted for it already. But what I am saying is that you will have to do quite a bit of planning and following through. Because your biggest dreams deserve committed plans. They deserve the kind of love and attention that you crave for yourself. Because it is for yourself. So, you'll need to pare things down. You'll need to cut things out. Because the important goals, those worthwhile endeavors, those take time and energy. You can't do everything you want to do right now. None of us can. And that's not a personal indictment. That's me saying everyone's got their own stuff. We're mired in our own longing and reflections and regret. Some miscommunications and delays and tension is going to happen. I mean, I've been a little short with people lately too. But very little of it is personal. Or very little of it is interpersonal. It's personal in the sense that we're unpacking a lot of our own shit. And honestly, saying all of that feels like the Hierophant. All the traditions and cultural systems that we grew up with. The things that are so ingrained in how we see the world and how we see ourselves. All of that needs inspecting, critiquing, dismantling. And it's interesting. If you look at these cards, you see the heat and fire and warmth and youth of both the Page of Wands and the Sun flanking the Hierophant. They suggest that maybe it's time to approach things from a perspective of innocence and earnestness. Because pages have that honest enthusiasm for whatever it is they're searching for. They have an energy that's not bogged down by the same kind of worries and doubts that a knight has. Pages have a curiosity that's only fettered by the topic they've chosen. They have this desire to follow the directive of their dominion. And right now, in this spread, that's their will and ambition, their passion. So what's yours? And if your immediate reaction is to say you don't have one, is that really true? Or were you told to bury it? Were you shown by your elders and your authority figures that your ideas were lofty or unrealistic? And do you really believe that? Because even though something may be difficult or unlikely, doesn't make it impossible. But a challenge is a challenge, and there are tons of systemic problems that make these things inaccessible. Which brings me back to what I said about being unconventional. The world is weird right now, and everything feels tenuous and uncertain and strange. But the full moon full moon in Pisces says swim in it. Traverse the bizarre. What can you learn from uncertainty and confusion? Because you can. You can learn from those things. But you may not be able to learn from them if you're relying on the old ways. For most of us, especially right now, so much of our hopes and ideas, they require being unconventional, taking new paths, trying new things, trusting new people. What's worked in the past has kind of been crumbling. And this has been proven on a small scale and a large scale. People are breaking up. People are feeling let down by their friends or community. Or they're just realizing that they want more than what they've been getting. Or giving. And industries are being faced with the consequences of their corruption and neglect. Things have to change. We all know that in some way and on some level. And this full moon is situated at a time and place that says learn from this. Now is the time to drop all the energy that's been building for the past 6 months. When the new moon was in Pisces. And to funnel it into something better for yourself and the people around you. For the people you care about. And even though it's very reductionist, it's important to remember that Pisces dreams and Virgo plans. So cosmically, we have the tools we need to work towards something so much stronger and more beautiful than we've had. Yes, that is easier said than done. Because the nature of dreams and hope are that they're expansive. Sometimes that's terrifying, right? To see that everything is so much more than you thought. It can make you feel really small. But it gives you so many more opportunities when you're in new spaces. Because as good as it can feel to be a big fish in a small pond, is that all you want for yourself? Because if you want better, you can have it. You do deserve it. It just requires a little work is all. A little more focus, a little direction at least. And if you've been thinking about it, you probably already know what direction that is. If you look back for the past 6 months, I think you can find it. It is worth taking the time while the moon is big and bright to really look at your desires and your dreams with an earnest eye and open heart. To look at those things with a childlike innocence that only the sun can offer. And I mean that as the sun in tarot, but also the sun in Virgo. Because if there's one thing that Virgo knows how to do better than any other sign, it's to distill. to find the essence of a thing. They can cut through the noise and the clutter and aim for pragmatism and efficiency because they're capable of finding the heart of it. And Venus is still retrograding in Leo, so what has your heart been shouting these days? Can you let the sun in Virgo shine a little light on that? And of course, can you let the moon in Pisces cast a glow in all the ways you could get there?